The tentative agreement came before sunrise. More than 100,000 rail workers had planned to strike at midnight tonight. In addition to sick leave and scheduling, workers will likely get a big pay boost.
Those rail workers will get better pay, a 24% wage increase over the next 5 years, improved working conditions, peace of mind around their health care by capping the cost that workers will have to pay.
It's been estimated a shutdown of the rail system could cost our economy more than $2 billion per day, stopping shipments of almost every kind of consumer product. Now, watching closely for a deal, the families of those union workers. Working on a train isn't for everyone, and it's a career choice that can affect home life. 3 News Now reporter Isabella Basco talked to railroad wives about what it's been like.
Liz has been a railroad wife for 16 years. The hardest part of her marriage, seeing her husband.
We could not have a decent conversation about anything important. We couldn't talk about what we're going to do with so-and-so as far as disciplining the kids. I don't know. We kind of got lost there for several years.
Her husband broke down his schedule for me. An average worker with a 40-hour work week gets 104 weekend days off. Last year, her husband only had 49 days off, and only 15 of those days were on the weekend. He hasn't gotten a raise in 3 years, and at one point worked 450 hours a month. It reached a breaking point when Liz saw her husband break down after working 13 straight days without any hope for a break.
He cried. This is coming back to me. I'm gonna cry. He cried for like 2 or 3 days. He couldn't stop.
Conditions like these are why railroad workers were willing to shut down the country. Kelly Pettis is married to a locomotive engineer. She lives in San Antonio but traveled to Omaha in April to protest outside the Berkshire Hathaway meeting after they celebrated record profits.
My daughter is 2.5 now, but earlier this year she ended up in the hospital. And he gets 7 attendance points for every day he misses they only get 30 for their career.
Feelings of isolation, never knowing where a spouse is or what time they are coming home or going to work. Liz and Pettis say that's the norm for a railroad wife.
They need to know they're giving their days and their nights to people who realize that these people need to be taken care of. I think you've had enough. You finally hit your limit.
And Liz says she still needs to see the tentative agreement between the railway companies and union leaders. She's still skeptical, but is thankful for congressional leaders for stepping up on behalf of the workers. In studio, Isabella Basco, 3 News Now.
Thank you, Isabella. Members of 12 unions will vote on the tentative agreement. That will likely take several weeks, and if approved, the average rail worker's salary would reach $110,000 by 2025.